Good morning. Good morning, Sonder family. It's a marvelous Monday morning with Team Jennifer on the call to get us set up and ready for the first full week in August. My name is Jennifer Ogilvy. I'm in the very hot Dallas, Texas area. Let me turn off that music. And I am your on-screen facilitator. And then my co-pilot this morning is the fabulous Jennifer Krippner. So yes, Team Jennifer is back together. Jennifer is in peak season for her other job, her professional life, and she's been doing a lot of traveling. So we were so grateful to be able to reconnect this morning. So she's hanging in the chat with you. We'll be there to offer, support and ideas, and then, just be with you. So set your chat to everyone. And I saw we've got some new Monday morning folks who don't normally come on Monday mornings. I love the vibe on Monday morning. I feel like we're here, we're consistent, we gather, nose down, get our journals done. So yeah, I'm sorry, I've got something going on with this hair this morning. So yeah, make sure that chat is set to everyone. We are going to encourage you to post in Sonder Club any part of your setup. Like if you're trying something new, do that. And Carla is wishing us happy Lammas Day, and it's the first harvest season. And I have to tell you something so funny, Carla. So at our monthly setup, Maya and I had a slide that had like August fun facts that we had pulled from someone, and she had written that it was Llama Day in August. And so when Maya was presenting, she kind of, was quipping along and said, I wonder what day that one is. That's kind of fun. So I, as her co-pilot, went to find it, and turns out llama, like the animal, that day is not in August. It's supposed to be what Carla says, Lammas. So then we were like, oh, that slide's that slide's wrong. But I took it as a, the more you know moment. So we learned something that night. Anyway, it's so good. Hello from North Texas. Hey, Carrie. Where are you? I'm in Garland. And if there's anybody here this is like your first weekly social for a setup, drop a me in here because a lot of us um, know each other. We show up every Monday, and we want to be sure that we welcome you. And y'all, I used to be a school director, and so August just gives me the feels. Like I walk in and I see the school supplies, and it just does this shift in my head. And this week, you'll see my rose this week is I've got Camp Grand Happy because my daughter-in-law went back to school. So I get the kids now. So I still have that August school year mindset. But one of the teachers that worked for me posted on Facebook. She's got all her pumpkins and leaves and orange candles and pumpkin spice candles out. And she said that for her, this is October. She's just ready to jump in to all things fall. So if you're not grieving the fact that summer is, disappearing, maybe you embrace October. That's hard to say, October. Or perhaps you're kind of grieving that summer's already leaving and it went just so quickly. I know, Michelle, for sure. You're in the north. You want that warmth and the growing season, right? Like we get two growing seasons in Dallas. So I'm going to be getting ready to start my fall garden and planting those beans and everything that I'll eat over the winter. But y'all will be starting to hopefully maybe get a little cooler, and that won't happen. Anyway, I'm just chatting, chatting, chatting. We need to get on with our morning. We've got an exclusive coming on August the 18th. So this is like 2 weeks in one day. And it is, again, I think as a community, we see the back to school special sales on on commercials. We walk in the stores, we get that vibe. So we are also embracing that in our Sonder community with a back to school, back to you event with Mayha. And as it says, you're going to have some guided exercises with Meha that helps you reclaim your driver's seat. And what a great kind of visual as we think about our velocity theme this month. And so Maya will be in the chat for that event, and there'll be lots of talking and supporting of each other. So this is free. We want to invite you. Jennifer put that link in the chat so you can click on that and you'll be able to register for that and invite a friend along. Like, just let them, if you know somebody who needs a little silk and sonder magic, do that. And yeah, lots of talk about like some retired teachers who we still have that mindset. You may volunteer. I go to my grandkids' elementary school, and I shelve books in the library, and I love it. My organizing part of my brain just gets fed. I get these great dopamine hits from finding where the books go, but I love that. And I've missed being in the library, so I'm kind of excited about that. All righty. And then there are those community guidelines. We always share those when we're together. We want to remind each other. We create spaces that are safe for each other. So basically, refresh that very quickly, look over those. But also, we always want to call out the hello at silkandsonder.com for any kind of support that you might need with your journal subscription along the way. And I love this graphic. It's okay to have bad days. We always say, show up as you are. If you're not feeling it, just come on, hang out with us. You're among friends. If you don't have to know everything, you just have to be yourself. Ask for help if you need it. If you're stuck in your journal, this community is a wealth of knowledge. Feel free to start over. We love the fresh start from week to week to week. That's what's so powerful about gathering for these weekly setups. Give yourself permission to make mistakes, maybe not be okay, and to say, no, this is a safe space. So I thought that went really nicely with our guidelines. We have this brand new theme of velocity. Truth be told, when I did my first monthly setup last week, it was like Tuesday or something. I was like, I wasn't sure about velocity. I hear velocity and I think physics, and that is not how my brain works. So I kind of was, oh, I don't know how this is going to work. And just the last few days of hanging out with y'all, reframing, kind of thinking about, oh, velocity, it's not about speed. It's about like that direction that we are taking in our life. And now I'm like pretty jazzed about velocity. So the theme has already grown on me. It is also National Wellness Month. And what a nice pairing to think about embracing wellness. And that's everything. That's our mental wellness, our physical wellness, our relationship wellness. How are we at work? How are we at home? Just that encompassing idea of wellness paired with velocity is really going to be powerful this month. Got a little graphic there. Head up, stay strong, let it go, move on. We're moving forward. So, anyway, yeah, so, right. And Mary Ellen says, glad you stepped away from speeding. And I think as we explore velocity through the month, I think some speed comes into play, but we have to maybe look at our personal journeys and think, am I moving too fast in this area of my life so fast that I'm not paying attention? Or do I need to ramp things up a little bit in this area of my life because I've let some things slide? So I think when we think about speed, we can think about it, both fast and slow. When I first hear speed, I think, phew. And sometimes we need to think about, oh, is my personal speed feeding what I need? So I think we're going to have a lot of good thoughts about that this month. Our regular agenda, mind map, rosebud thorn reflection, set up those weekly pages with lots of examples. Feel free to drop things in the chat if you need a little support, if you're thinking about trying something, if you want to see if somebody else has done it. Use this community for your setup this morning. You may already have your cadence and know what you're going to do, and that's great, but we will also present maybe something that you hadn't thought about before, or we've brought something back and you may go, "Oh, I'm gonna try that in my setup." All right, so let's move forward. Our velocity mind map. I'm going to give you a little extra time with the music this morning so you have time to set your page up. This can be done anywhere in your journal, a notes page, the last page. Some folks I saw were trying doing that weekly scratch pad from week to week. I saw that in Sonder Club. But when we hear the word velocity, we often think of moving fast, accelerating, or rushing toward a finish line. But in our community, we are reframing it. True velocity isn't just about speed, it's about direction and momentum. And if you've been with Silk and Sonder for a couple of years, momentum was one of our themes back in March of 2024. So maybe you go dig out that journal if you still have it and kind of pair what happened through that month with what's going to happen for you this month. March 2024 was momentum. It's about how intentionally we're moving toward the things that fill our cups and how swiftly we choose to pivot away from what drains us. So, we're going to focus on one single powerful thing each week. We're kind of trying to make these a little more succinct and focused. So, this is going to be I think you're going to love this. We're going to map out our own velocity. Now, remember, this is about you. So, your answer is going to look different. Grab your favorite colored pens, markers, stickers, and let's map it out. So, question number one, and I've got my page on here to show you how I set mine up. It says, before we can shift our speed, we have to look honestly at where our compass is pointing. Let's look at the path we are choosing right now. Write down the absolute number one primary direction you want your life's momentum to flow toward this month. And I've shared this before. You've heard me talk about it, but for me, it is thinking about 90-year-old Jennifer. I am in my second act. And I am watching my mother, who will be 86 in September, and she is not doing the things she needs to do to stay strong and active. And I can hardly watch her get out of a chair because she in the spring and fall she gets strong because she works in the yard, but the heat and the cold keep her out of that. So like right now her muscle tone is slipping. She won't incorporate things in her daytime, and I'm like watching that going, I don't want that to be me. So I have really been spending a lot of time thinking about 90-year-old Jennifer Ogilvy. What does that look like? So for me, my number one thing is health so that I can have vitality at age 90. And it's looking at my rest, my nutrition, and my movement. And I'm really trying to embrace this mindset because, it's real easy to fall back into I'm hungry, I'm going to go eat half a bag of chips. I've talked about this all the time, grabbing the thing, not being prepared. And I need to start everything I do with, is this good for 90-year-old me? And if the answer is no, then I need to take that beat, take a pause, and figure out what I need for 90-year-old me. Because it's real easy to let that slip if we're not careful. So anyway, I've been doing a whole lot of, like, I write 90 on my notes and that kind of thing, just as that reminder that I really have to take control of what this chapter looks like for that chapter later. I'm going to give you a little bit extra time to, get your page divided up this morning. So our song will be a smidge longer than usual, but don't overthink this. Just sort of go with that first thing that pops in your head about the number one primary direction you want to flow. Maybe it has to do with your career or your mission. Maybe it's your mindset and your well-being. Perhaps it's health and vitality, like I've leaned into, or perhaps you're missing some connection and some community and you need that in your life. Or look around your space. Is there something that's speaking to you about creating this space to align with the lifestyle that you want? or maybe it's something else. So share in the chat as you work through this, and then we'll get going with the rest of our setup. Oh, how I love this community and how you support each other. Um, I laughed, Lori. That is such a good idea. She suggested a walking pad for my mom to get her to move. And Lori, I think that'd be a great idea. Only my mom is a little tricky and she doesn't like stuff in her house out like that. Like she's so funny because I've bought her lots of things to support her wellness, but she needs her house set up to look a certain way with me, which means lots of clutter and flowers and that kind of stuff. But I'm going to talk to her. Maybe she will entertain a little walking pad so that she could do that while she watches TV. Only I'm thinking she may not like the look of it. Anyway, moms are tricky. And Sonia said, she's let her housework slide because she was going through her cancer journey and she's going to prioritize that. But I just said, to Sonia, that recovery of yours was priority. And that is such a great reminder for all of us because we don't need to, there are seasons in our life where we have to be focused on this, even if other things have to slide. So, that's a good reminder for all of us that sometimes life just takes over and we have to go with that flow, but yeah, y'all are, yeah, we've got some empty nesting coming up. That's a biggie. Um, yeah, you chose your marriage. I love that, Michelle. Yeah, just like, okay, who are we now that kids are leaving the house? So that's pretty good. I wrote in the chat, I think empty nesting is like the worst breakup you'll ever have, only you're so proud of that person. And it's just really hard to say goodbye, but we've all been there and done that. Maybe. And yeah, y'all have some good. Okay, the wheels on there. Okay, thank you. We'll look into that. Maybe her birthday's in September. Maybe I'll get her that walking pad for her birthday. She'll be like, Jennifer. Anyhow, thank you for all that good juju in the chat, the support. There's still stuff that might be hard, but you're there and supporting each other. Okay, there. Yes, Anne. Anne says, I'm going to call the surgeon. And yeah, you are number one. You've got to say, this is not right. And I need to follow my heart and my gut and get to feeling better. So yeah, a good follow up. Um, oh yeah, for sure, Michelle. So you know what? I do a postcard exchange. Michelle says the relationship with an adult kid is just the best. I do a postcard exchange and a young mom, I got her address and she was like, give me any advice and what's the hardest part of mothering and the best part of mothering? And I said, the best part of mothering is when they become your friends, when they grow up and they become your friends. Anyway, okay, gosh, I wish we were like around a big old table at a coffee shop and we could all just chit chat all along. You're right. Thank you, Lori. Just dropped me that link to to the walking pad. So let's turn to page 30 in your August journal. You may be, if you kind of finished up last week in July and you didn't jump into August in any way, you might want to go to that last rosebud thorn reflection in your July journal. And I apologize, mine is packed in my bag because I've got to finish some things up in there. And we're going out of town. So I only have my August in front of me, but that's going to be on page 30. This is that weekly, I call it a gratitude exercise, looking at the things that went well, that we're proud of, that brought us a lot of joy, those roses, the things that we're looking forward to, the buds in our life, something that could give us hope and inspiration. If you answered this mind map question, right there, that could be your bud because you are thinking forward about the direction of your life. And then finally, the thorns, the things that didn't go well. And for some of you, those came up like you're looking at maybe some health or like I've got to get this decluttering business going. Like I'm looking at my house, I'm just not where I want to be. So maybe your thorn is something that came out of that mind map reflection, something that feels a little challenging. And I always say sometimes thorns go away, sometimes they stay. Now, I wanted to share with you this example on the left. Kimberly had a great week one week, and she said, I'm just going to make a rose garden. So her reflection was just all the good things that happened that week, and she filled in every space with a rose. So if you've just had an extremely special, wonderful week, give yourself a rose garden. I've often told you, though, that I always look for a thorn because I feel like karma gets me if I'm too happy. And anytime I've had, like, I didn't have a thorn last week, I'll like have a car accident, which happened. So I always look like, what didn't go quite well. That's just for me. For me, my roses, I do have some new appliances at my mom's. She had a gas stove. She had a stroke a couple years ago. Some of you who were with me um, remember that. And she lost her sense of smell through that stroke. And so we got her new appliances, which means the gas stove is out of her house. And I'm sleeping so much better at night. So that was a rose. I was with her. My husband went. We got, all the stuff done to get that taken care of. Plumbers, electricians, new appliances. So yay, that was a big check mark. Y'all know I'm kind of solo journeying with my mom now since Greg died. My brother died back in March, and I have a half brother, but I'm still solo journeying on this. So I felt like it was a really big win. I really missed Greg too. That kind of opened that can of worms for me, him not being there. But that's the journey, right? So my bud is today is Camp Grand Happy, and we're taking our bigs to the lake, and we're going to make cotton candy, and we're learning how to kayak, and we just have plans a mile long, and I'm very excited, and I'm going to be really tired next week when I see you. So lots of good, but I'm so glad I get to do that. And then my thorn was we have a septic system at the family cabin, and the something went out and it had to be replaced, and it was not an expense I wanted to have, so that was a thorn. Yeah, a very good kind of tired, Joanna, for sure. Let's put on a little bit of music and visit what the week brought you, and feel free to share in the chat. And if you need a little extra support somewhere, let us know. I just think there's a lot of power in putting that out into this community and knowing that you're not alone with that. We're sending lots of support for those thorns. And I'm so grateful for this space that allows us to just kind of put it down there, right? So know that you're not alone and really try to focus on your buds and your roses. And then I always say, in the thorns, see if you can find the learning from it, the way that you can be made stronger through that thorn. And that's always a good way to like own that thorn, and you are in control of it and it's not in control of you. So thanks y'all for sharing. Let's get on with our setup for this whole first full week of August. We are going to be on pages 32 and 33 in your journal. And I thought this graphic, I love graphics that just like, yeah, that picture is exactly what I want to say is that, we've had several months of experience with 2026, but we have some opportunity left in this year. And so that's where we are right now. And we are embracing this new month and this new week with the mindset of velocity and our wellness. So we all should have just set up those intentions that we wanted for our lives in August. And so I'm going to encourage you now to go back and look over your page 9. I actually repurposed my page into 4 intentions, trying to keep that mindset of 90-year-old me. And so I am going to be working on intentions that are my emotional and spiritual health, my personal life and relationships, my physical health, and my creative life. And I just whittled that down to 4 to make it a little more manageable for me. You might also want to go look at page 8 in that start. What did you say you wanted to start this month? And what do you want to stop? And then what do you want to continue? Let those spaces influence how your weeks are set up. And then I love this habit and activity tracker because someone has said, I'm going to go look at my start, stop, and continue space 4 times this week, like keeping it front of mind. So that's a really great way to embrace that. Now, we've got lots of tools and techniques that we can use in the week as we are going through goals and to-dos and the stuff that has to happen. This is the Pomodoro technique. Jennifer just dropped a link there. If you haven't tried it, this is working under a timer, and it can be a very effective way, kind of playing a game with yourself to beat the clock. And you just set sessions of 25-minute work periods, giving yourself a 5-minute break in between each one of those little sessions. And then you take a good break, like a lunch hour, walk away, and then you repeat a Pomodoro session. So I tend to set timers, even if it's like, okay, Google, set a timer for 5 minutes, and then I'll see how many dishes I can get unloaded from the dishwasher and reset the kitchen sink, right? Like just boom. For some reason that drives me. So maybe the Pomodoro will speak to you. This is a visual of the Eisenhower matrix. We share the Eisenhower matrix all the time, but it's the things that are urgent, that need your immediate attention, all the way down to things you can just wash your hands of and walk away from. And I just really love that. I love the bottom left space, the delegation, where you hand that opportunity to someone else. And then, we have this also, there are things that are urgent on fire that have to happen, but there's also things that need to happen, but the urgency isn't there. So we tackle our schedule, and create spaces in our day for that. So I thought that was a pretty powerful graphic. And this graphic does help us avoid that urgency trap. And we were talking about speed and how we're moving through our days. So this could be something that you utilize as you were thinking about velocity in your life. What is urgent? What is not urgent? This can help you sort those things out so that you are having the most efficient, effective week that you can. And look at the delete space. I like this because, we may have this really long to-do list, and we look look at it, there's nothing we can delete, but just because it's not on the list doesn't mean it can't be deleted. So look at the things that we are deleting in this model. They are the things, the distractions that are making us feel worse afterwards. Like when we just, flounder away our time by doing social media or watching TVs or playing video games or eating junk food. So as you're thinking about that direction you want to take, what needs to be eliminated? And like mine is mindless snacking, like not being prepared. So that could be a delete when I set up something like this. So hopefully that's something that'll speak to you to put that power into pen and paper. All righty, so let's go look at here's a couple of examples of pages completely. It was set up and filled out. I love to see completed pages for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is that we see, oh, maybe there is accomplishments, and then sometimes our data shows us that the week didn't go quite like we wanted it to go. But these are both beautiful examples of setting that page up to work for you. The to do, we've got some fun to do lists. I love the one over there on the right. One of the to-dos is to enjoy the trip. So that's pretty fun. We've got a to-da bingo instead of a to-do list. And then you can see we've set I the one on the right, instead of goals, that I'm predicting I'll do this X number of times. And I just that little shift in a mindset so you can set like goals, but I like the idea of just writing prediction. Like I predict I'll do it 3 times. And then we'll see how successful I am in that. Or you can set a goal, or you can just track, right? Right. And how, like Janine, for sure. And I think this might have been Kimberly L's example because she always uses, I recognize all those bright colors, but she said, I want to feel assured, and it looks like this and it sounds like this. So, really embracing that feeling for the week. So, I just thought those were some fun examples. I love to share what y'all do this week. Think about how you want to feel. I just put aligned. I'm working on that nutrition, rest, and movement that came from my mind map reflection. I've got it. Here's my 3 goals. I leave I've got the blurry thing. I leave this space blank for my to-dos, the things that I do that were not on my list. My list goes on my weekly spread. And then my habit, I'm having trouble with the blurry there. There, my habits and activities, all of these are driven from that nutrition, rest, and movement. So I want to be in bed before 11. I'm going to do heel and toe lifts. I have 5 sit-ups and 5 push-ups. Y'all, I will probably do more, but James Clear says go like set yourself up for success. Go with the low little micro step. So I'm put 5 sit-ups and 5 push-ups, and hopefully I'll do 20, but I can do 5 and I can mark that off. So micro goals. And then my sit to stands in that chair because I was with my mom, right? And I'm thinking I gotta get those legs strong. So I have aligned as my feeling word this week. Start dropping in the chat. Joanna says, I want to feel like a powerful, productive, domesticated goddess. Oh, the imagery. I love that, Joanna. So yeah, keep them coming, blooming with momentum, peace, grace, wisdom. You can have as many words as you want. You can have one word. You can do statements. You can use a sticker or pictures. So let us know what word you're gravitating for. Vital. Yes, ma'am, Michelle. Vitality. Sonia wants to be proud of. You're gonna be proud of you because you're gonna start tackling that house, Sonia. Aligned and connected, serenely. Whoops. I'm doing all kind of things with the mouse. Serenely empowered. I love that. With some peace, Laurie. Yeah, back to the baselining. Nothing wrong with that one. That one's pretty good. So Elizabeth said she's looking back over last week, roller coaster of emotions. She wants that calmness and that line to be towed. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly, and then I want to give you time to work on these spaces. So we won't talk a ton about all of this. I know you've heard me before, but I want you to have time to be intentional with your journal. But I do want to show you examples of like using categories to put your goals into place. So I'm going to just call it my categories are nutrition, rest, and movement. And then I'll kind of break that down into like my movement is all about my habit activity. Nutrition, I'm going to gravitate. I'll show you what I'm doing with nutrition on the second page in a minute, in a little bit. And then rest is just that bed before 11. That's my one thing I'm going to focus on this week. There are other things that need to happen with my rest, but that's my one thing. I've got the grandkids. It's going to be a long week. I'm just keeping it simple. Bed by 11. All righty. So lots of examples here. And then here's examples of folks tying their goals directly to some of the to-do lists that they have. So, you can do that. This is that way that you're supporting those goals. And then a repurpose. Maybe you don't do goals here. Maybe you do a tracker, or I love this morning routine. Now, I used my whole habit tracker this month for my morning routine. It's very focused on that because I need to shore that up. And I think if I start off my day in a better way, then I will be more accountable to the other areas in my life. But you can see lots of trackers. I love instead of weekly three major goals, that bottom middle, it's weekly three self-love reminders. And then instead of goals under that triumphant, it's a bingo board. So let's celebrate when we get that filled out. I love that. And yes, Michelle, great question. She says, how can my goals support how I want to feel? And how can I move myself forward this month and week? So those are great velocity reminders. And then some more repurposing. Again, the mini bingos. I love the weekly to-dos with the little 4 areas. So who do I need to call? Who needs a follow-up? What errands need to be run? And what's on my schedule? And I love that it's both like eye and teeth, health focus, because we tend to forget to do that. Maybe you need a to-be list, right, as you're looking at what you reflected today. And then we finally have that habit and activity tracker down at the bottom that might look different from the habit tracker wheel, because this is like what's going on this week in your world for just this week. And again, with my micro habits, I did that because I do have my grands. And so I won't be able to focus on myself. So I thought if I can do 5 sit-ups, 5 push-ups, that's 5 more than I would do if it wasn't written down. So my habit and activity tracker is reflecting this week. And then we've got some ways of setting that up. I share this one often at the upper left, that night walk with audiobook, a habit stack, putting 2 things together at once. If you're starting new, we suggest pairing that new habit with an existing habit, and then you are more likely to get a win. And you can set goals. You don't have to set goals. You can just plain track. And again, I'm going to point you back to your August intentions and that monthly habit tracker. Are there some things that can inform this space? And the reminder, you don't have to fill out every line. Maybe you just track 3 things this week instead of filling out all 5. Really up to you. And then there's some good feel-good habits for you. I'm going to put on some music. We'll scroll back through those slides. If you saw something you liked, feel free to throw that in the chat. I'm going to be doing this, or take a screenshot. All righty. And then we'll go back. I'll come back and we'll look at that next page. righty. I know you might be finishing up this page. I want to make sure we have plenty of time to go through our second set of slides. And we've got lots of chatter in the chat about making sure that you're taking good care of yourself, Carla. And so we'll let y'all continue to chat through that. If you have any suggestions, feel free to share that. But know that you've got your Sonder community, and it sounds to me like you are being intentional with a plan to take care of your wellness. So that's the main thing. We are going to jump over to this second page. I love these two examples. In the meal plan, this person has put name it to tame it. And this reflection on I felt this way and like where was I? And then look in the mind body health plan. There is a little direction for doing this reflection each evening. Write down emotions I'm feeling, what triggered it, where do I feel it in my body, and what I did or wanted to do in response. So just really being intentional about this reflection on how you're feeling. So, that can give you a lot of power with when you have that intentionality. Maybe this is something worth trying. Um, and so I love that. And then the one on the right is so full of just joy with the orange and the yellow. We're using the meal plan for a meal plan. And then it looks like kind of those commitments for each day are in the mind body health plan. And then just some beautiful stickers in that shopping list and then what they are loving. So Lynn is looking for some meal plan repurpose ideas. So maybe we can come up with something to support that, Lynn. We've got here's a big four intention, what's for dinner, embody, and then what I want to accomplish today. A chore list, a what's up, kind of like the highlight of the day, what's coming, and then poems of my life, just a little poem reflection over there. So those are some different ways to use the space. I've been doing the Silk and Sonder themed calendar reflections in this space. We've got quotes right here, quotes about bravery. So maybe if you're needing to feel a certain way, you find quotes that support that. A one good thing end of the day reflection. It looks like just sort of, kind of middle right is sort of like the things that are just going on with some stickers and supporting. But like Friday looks like it's create day, so hobby day. And then the big focus, how are we, what is the big push for this particular day? And then I want to shout out to the water droplets because it's important that we're hydrating. That's this time of year. We're all hot. We're cranky. Make sure you're doing that. But you could also, maybe you just fill up a big thing of water so you don't really track your water. You just get that big thing drunk up your vessel. This is a really good place to kind of make a little mini tracker. So you can see all the way over on the right, someone is just tracking their energy level, which, on a scale of 1 to 8, where's my energy today? And somebody else is doing when I fill my cup. So it could be figuratively, like when I've done something kind for myself, or it could be literal. So that could be also like I feel calm and just doing a calm check-in. And because there's 8 water droplets, like if you are considering an 8-hour day, maybe this is a hourly check-in. And just at the top of the hour, you check in with yourself and maybe just say, okay, I'm going to take 5 big deep breaths. And you do that, and then you color that water droplet in. So it could be just a little accountability tracker for doing a small act of kindness to yourself, like taking deep breaths. All righty. And then mind, body, health. And I was sharing with you about what I'm going to do. This is an old tracker or old mind, body, health. It's the double one up at the top. Those are two different mind, body, health spaces for me. The first week I tracked the individual colors of the rainbow I ate, right? And that week I had 9 different things. Okay. After I started just writing down the different colors of things I was eating, I ended up with, after 6 weeks, I was so much more intentional about choosing different colors and to eat. And so you notice that instead of wash, rinse, repeat with my, 9 little items that week, I ended up adding variety and ended up having 21 different things. It worked really well for me writing them down, and that was helping me be accountable to better nutrition instead of mindless snacking. So I'm reincorporating this because I fell off that wagon. Alrighty. And then some, how do I feel? And what does that telling me I need? Those are great reflection for morning or night. Some other highlights of the day. How did I care for me? A little reflection. And then the shopping list also gets repurposed quite frequently from a shopping list into some kind of a tracker, a grid, a checklist, a bingo. We love a good bingo. I love, there's this bottom left one, routine tasks. So just these things they want to do, and they just put the days of the week across there. I worked on my nighttime routine several times and used the tracker above that on the left there for that, but I mostly put bingos in this space. Just stuff that needs to happen this week. Some of them are fun, some of them are chores. Then I have some inspiration graphics for you that could inform any of these spaces on this page. So glimmers, looking for the glimmers. Maybe you keep a glimmer tracker in that meal plan. A mindfulness challenge. So that could go in that meal plan or one of these other spaces. This is the 7-day positivity challenge. It always makes me laugh because the last thing on each one of these challenges is do not moan once. I think that's funny. Maybe some self-care inspiration can come off of this. Self-care starts on Monday, and this graphic I shared at my monthly setup, the 5 days to schedule every month. So maybe one of these things gets scheduled somewhere on this page this week. Maybe you have a reset day and you expand your mind body health of what that looks like for you, what a reset day looks like for you, or what does a learning day look like for you. So maybe you grab one of those for this week. Here are the fun things this week if you want to celebrate anything, like August 5th is work like a dog day. So maybe that's your decluttering day. But you could maybe inspire one of these spaces with some of the fun things of the National Day of for the week. And then we've got, again, some calendars that could inform these spaces. You don't have to do them in order. I was mentioning I use this. I'm going to use the August 2026 31 Days of Velocity. That little reflections going in my meal planner. And then sometimes I write, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just reflect on it and do the things. So today is do one thing you've been putting off. So that'll definitely happen. And then I know lots of us are, with this mindset, there might be some educators getting ready to go back to work. Maybe you have accountability with some job friends, and there's a lot of things on here that work for you, whether you're in office or not, whether you're working outside the home or in the home, or even if you're retired. There's things on here that are really good for us: learning a new skill, growing a plant, giving yourself a surprise day off. So perhaps that will inform some of these spaces. Time to put on music, go back through these slides. Let us know what you'll be doing on your page 2 of your setup. I want to be very mindful of your time. Jennifer's going to start dropping some links in the chat that you can use to register for that back to school thing. Remember, this has been recorded, so you'll be able to access the recording in just a few minutes. If you're needing to look at another slide, you want to grab a screenshot, you want to save it, you want to try something for another day. This hour always goes by so quickly. So be sure to remember that you'll be able to grab those screenshots and perhaps set up something fun and trying something new in your journal. It is hard to pick. Sonder Club has such great ideas. I always forget, like, oh, I want to try that. Oh, I want to try that. So, every week try something different. That's good for your brain flexibility to try different things. I'm really proud of you for showing up this morning on a Monday to get set up for this new, yeah, it should be longer. Only we've got life, right, Suzanne? So give yourself a pat on the back for showing up. Think about what you're loving right now. You can drop that in the chat right now if you know, or you might do this at the as an end of the week check in. As always, we'd love to see any part of your setup in Sonder Club. That's where we get these great ideas. There's that reminder about the Back to School, Back to You workshop. And Michelle's loving not working this week. Oh, I bet you fill your day, though, with other things, don't you? Oh, Lynn, happy birthday. It's her birthday week. I love that. Oh, the memory garden, Joanna, for your daughter. I love that for you. Y'all are going to have a great week. Remember that we've got Sonder Coach. If you haven't tried that out yet, that might be something worth trying. And then there's our wonderful little playlist from this morning. I'm sending you lots of light and love. Proud of you for showing up. Proud of you for just being who you are and the way you support each other. Make it a good week, Sonder family.
Sun's up, it's a little after 12. Make breakfast for myself.